Hello and welcome to my workshop. I'm Jeff McDonald, and my next project I'm working on are two vases. They're actually going to be Christmas vases. I've never made them before, just like most things I make. I've never made them before. Mostly turn out okay, but sometimes don't. But here's the pattern of what I'm doing. Now this is a vase with 24 rings, so it's going to be about 12 inches high. Now all the 12 red blocks you see there, they make up different color blocks: green, red, blue, whatever. And the yellow is the green, like a Christmas tree. I'm going to show you how I'm getting started. The one part you did not see is when I was cutting the strips. Then I turn around and I cut these segments from the strip. So I didn't show you that part. So then I cut all these segments, which I cut enough for two vases with 24 rings. It's a whole lot of segments, about a 5-gallon drum full of pieces. So anyway, now I'm putting together the rings, and right now I took the resin pieces and used a 2-part epoxy, and I'm setting them up, let them set up, and then I can add the other ring pieces to make the actual ring. These are two for 2 rings. So whenever I make anything, I make 2, and it just makes it easier. If I'm cutting, I might as well make enough for 2. So all right, now I'm putting it together. Hopefully my hands won't get in your way too much, but I'm putting this other section together here. And all I do is I glue it up there, and then I just have to flip it over and put them in position. The biggest error I make sometimes is losing track of the count. I have to put 36 segments in. So what I do is I have to make sure I don't overdo it. I did one that was 1 over, and after I put the ring together, I had to turn around and take it to the bandsaw and cut out a piece of segment and make it fit everything back together. So I've had times I've had to completely tear it apart, but you have that. If you lose track, that happens. So see, normally I don't glue up like this, but since I've got them in different pieces, I have to kind of do it this way. So now I just got to put all the rest in. So all right, I want to quickly show you this press I have that I made. I bought this piece here online, I think on Amazon, I believe. I found it, and it worked really well. Just some 2x4s, and then it presses down, and then I can press whatever. I use this underneath here to do the pressing. I'll show that in a second, how I'm going to use that for this particular ring. All right, I got my ring glued together, and it's kind of roughly put together. Then all I do is I put this on here, put the big rubber band that I'm going to use on here. Now what this does is it holds the ring pieces, all the segment pieces in place, so I can put this around the ring without any hassle. It's not that easy to put a rubber band around. At least I don't find it easy to put rubber band around 63 pieces of wood without having a problem. So now I go around and I just straighten them all out, because make sure they're all tight in the right place. All right, that's pretty much all there is to it on the way I do it. All right, been working on this Christmas item. This is 2 vases. This is enough rings for 2 vases that I now need to run them through the drum sander. So that's the next thing we'll do. Okay, now we have the vase that is glued up, somewhat glued up. The first 7 rings are glued up. But what I have to do is go ahead and remove the material on the inside, because as the vase gets longer, which I expect to be around 12 inches long, tall, the vase will be tall, I gotta repeatedly clean out the inside, so it makes it easier in the long run to get it done. If I make it 12 inches, I can't reach the bottom. So here we go. Alright, you can see where I've sanded the inside and polished the inside, because it's a lot easier to do it now before the vase gets put all together. So now I'm going to start gluing on more rings. I've got 6 more rings glued on here, so now it's time to remove those. You know, as I'm stepping this as I go, putting on a few rings and then doing the inside. That's the only way I can get to reach the inside. So here we go. Alright, that's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand that and then polish the inside. Alrighty, I started turning the outer part of the bowl because I've got to put the steady rest on, and I need it done to do that, but I realized I didn't turn the camera on. So I still have some more to do. I'm using the carbide tool to kind of get this smoothed down some before I start sanding it. So I got to actually change this, so I'm going to come back. Alright, I'm back. Can you believe that I have only one Allen key that will fit this one tool out of hundreds of Allen wrenches I have that come with these kind of tools? I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, you can see it, the tree is starting to take shape, so now I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this. Get the shape and get it nice and smooth. Okay, now what I'm going to do is sand and polish, and I'll come back and show it to you before I put the steady rest on the bowl. Okay. Well, I decided to do a change. I'm going to take more off the inside because I wanted to get about 1/4 of an inch total, which I'll take some off the outside and some off the inside, but right now I got to go back and take it off the inside. The reason I say that is I'm going to put lights inside this vase, and in order for everything to shine like I want it to, it needs to be about 1/4 of an inch, I think, or 3/8 of an inch, and that would be a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn more off the inside, and then I'll glue more rings, and then we'll do the whole outside. Now I've got my steady rest on, as you can see, which helps hold it on. It's usually just skateboard wheels that we just make this out of, so it works really well. Noisy with those wheels, but that does a very good job of keeping that bowl steady, or not bowl, I'm sorry, I'm used to turning bowls, keeping this piece of wood steady. Alright, so now I just got to use carbide. Now I got to change carbide bits. What I think I'm going to do, that's probably good enough there. I'm going to sand, and I'm going to kind of keep this rhythm going with the rest of the vase, and then I'll take about 1/4 inch off the outside, the total outside, and that should be thin enough so the lights do a good job. Okay. Alright, I thought I'd bring folks back for the final part of doing this vase. It's been hard to record everything because I've been jumping all over the place, but I'm getting to do the top part now. Let's see what we got here. I like the shape. Shape's looking really good. I wouldn't want to mess with it too much more. Yeah, that's really rough right there. That's what the carbide cutter does. It really messes up the wood. All right, so I'll bring you back when I turn this thing around and I'm removing the tenon off the bottom. Wait a minute, let me think for a minute. I gotta think. No, I still gotta cut from the inside. I gotta do a little bit of inside work. Not much, but a little bit. You can't see it anyway, so I'm not going to record it. So really all it is now is sanding, as far as I could tell. Okay. I'll bring it back here at some point. I don't know when. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up some resin. I want to make a round red base for these vases. I got 2 vases, so I'm going to make 2, of course. 2 bases. It takes roughly 13 ounces per each one, so I'm going to call it 12 because 13 brought it right up to the rim. I'm going to use water to find the volume. So I'm going to use 12, so I'll mix up 24 ounces of resin, okay? Now, I still like to use this, measure it with the scale, because it helps me really get right on where I want it. If I want, so I'm doing ounces, so it'll bring me right to the 12 ounces of each mix. So I'm going to first pour in 12 ounces of resin. Slowly, so I don't get too many bubbles. A little too many bubbles. All right on the money, 12 ounces. Then what I'm going to do is go ahead and, because I don't have to hit the timer yet, I'm going to mix up the resin in there. So it's already mixed up in the resin, the color, the red color that I want. Looks like I'm going to need more pretty soon. There's a lot of red, I guess. Then I have this red flake. It's a glitter. So I'm going to put some of that in there. It's a Christmas base, so a little Christmassy theme. That's good. All right, I'll mix that up before I put the hardener in. See, it just kind of means I'm not fighting the clock if I do it this way, I've learned. If I put it all together and then try to mix in the color, then I'm against the clock. Of course, this is a slow resin. It's a 12-minute. You want to get it everything and in the pressure pot in 12 minutes. So it's really not hard. It's not too bad at all. Now, when you're mixing different colors, which I'm not doing, I'm mixing just one color, but if I was going to do like a cream with white or something else, or even a black with a red or something, I would use the thermometer in each one. I'd mix resin and hardener, 2 cups of each, put the different colors in, and then I would measure up to about 105 degrees before I start putting it together in one of these, or whatever, whatever we're using, form or whatever. So that way they won't blend together too much. You don't want the colors blending, making a whole new color. If the heat keeps it from doing that. I don't know how, but it just does. So you go against time and you go against heat. I've made a lot of mistakes. It cost me a lot of money learning how to do resin. So let's put in the, let me get this out of here. Put 12 ounces of hardener in. Ah, come on. Brings me up to 24. That's all. Like I said, we've got one color, but I still want to kind of keep it going, keep mixing it. I don't want that glitter all ending up in one place. So it's still got to get warm for the glitter to be dispersed throughout, right? I hope I'm making sense. I've never tried to taught anyone resin before. Most of you probably already know resin. So just keep stirring a little bit. It's only 84. We got a long way to go. So probably about 3 minutes. And I'll probably fast forward to this part. You'll see my hand going hyperspeed. All right, now I have a double-decker thing I made down in there. One of the forms are in there already, the rubber round bowl-looking thing. And now I'm going to pour this one while it's in there. That way I don't have to worry about carrying it and spilling it, because that can be kind of tricky too in itself. So alrighty, we did good. Just the right amount. I poured the first one a little shy just to make sure. So now what I got to do is just put the lid on. I'm probably in your way and everything. I'm sorry. I'm just, I got a little shop. It's hard to figure out where to put the camera sometimes. And I got to just do this. Lock this down. Socket some more. What this does is, and I don't know how, but I know that it gets the air out of the resin. It just, my understanding, it brings it, I don't know, it makes the bubbles smaller so that you can't even see it, even though there might still be in there. All right. Now what I'll do is, sorry. Well, what I do now is bring it up to about 40 pounds PSI. Then I'll stop the air, leave it in the tank for about 2 hours, and then it'll be ready to take out of the form as soon as it cools. This resin is very fast, and as far as I've used different resins, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best I've ever used. It's Alumilite slow, clear slow is what I use, and for wood turning. I'm sure other kinds and applications you'd want to use different resins, okay? But so, all right. So what we'll do is while that's doing that, I'm going to go back sanding on the vase. and we'll get these bases eventually put on there. Not today, probably tomorrow. So. Yeah. If you notice, I put these different colored segments all over. It's kind of like, I don't know, Christmas lights, right? Everywhere. Lights on the tree. You can't see it right now, but there's brown. I use a walnut, a black walnut for the base of the tree. I'm now making the base on the first vase that I made. Now, I made a mistake. I could have and should have started with the base and attached everything to it, but I got excited and I did it backwards and just glued a waste block to make the base. So now I got to do this and then attach it to the vase, which is not a big deal. It's just not what I would normally do, and I don't always do what I normally do. The next vase, which I cut enough pieces for two, of course, so like I always say, I will start with the base and attach everything to it. What I'm doing is this bottle right here, I'm going to attach it here, but I'm making an indent so it'll go in there, and then I got to polish everything before I start. What I like to do is with these vases is I like to include this so people can put live flowers in their vase, or they can choose to put fake flowers in, whichever they like to do. So, all right, so let me get started. Am I lined up here? I don't know if I'm lined up right now. Sorry to